Hola, bom dia. Carl Monson here with the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. How are you today? We've got a real mixed bag this morning. I think focusing a little bit more on the positive and the uplifting. We haven't done Portuguese moments for a while, have we? Those moments when you think to yourself, yes, that's what we moved here for. It can be something as simple as when you have a Torrada, as I did yesterday evening. Found myself in a Portuguese cafe, as I sometimes do. My meia de leite and that's my milky coffee. The closest thing you'll get to, probably the cappuccino here. Not that I want a cappuccino. Meia de leite is absolutely fine for me. I ordered a Torrada to go with it. Some people call it toast. It really isn't toast. It's like Jenga, a bread Jenga soaked with butter. And as I sat there munching on my Torrada, I thought, yes, I'm having a Portuguese moment. I also nearly got run over before going into the cafe, which was another Portuguese moment, which I'll tell you more about. And Mrs. M had one that I want to share with you as well. Good morning to you, Ken. We'll come back to you in just a minute as well. We're also going to be looking at the Moto GP news, thanks to Dave and Debbie, who are delighted to see Prosecco Peggy on one of my expat chats last night. Great fun talking to Peggy Littrell, Prosecco Peggy, or Lockdown Littrell, as we called her yesterday as well on the show last night. It was great fun talking to her. What's the name? Oh, hold on a minute. Vanessa's asking, what's the name of your milky coffee again, please? Okay, the coffee controversy can begin. Vanessa, good morning to you. Meia de leite, half milk, meia, meaning half. We don't officially do a palabra do dia, the vocabulary anymore, because so much vocabulary naturally comes up on the show. But that, Vanessa, will be a meia de leite, which is half milk, leite being milk. And it's one of those pronunciations that still, after 3 years here in Portugal, people look at me, the staff in cafes look at me ensconced. What did you just say? Meia de leite, faz favor. And I still haven't got my pronunciation quite right with that. But half milk, if you're looking for something even more milky, you might want to try a galao, which is taller and in a glass often, excuse me, which approximates more closely to the latte coffee that you might want. So, I mean, I hesitate to give you sort of coffee conversions, like, this one's like this one and this one's like this one, because you can bet somebody will say, no, that's this, no. But for me, the galao is the taller, really milky one, and the meia de leite is the half milky one. And it's often a little bit frothy, so it's a little bit like a cappuccino. But actually, if you grew up in England like I did, it's a bit like the coffees you would have got in a Wimpy bar, if anybody remembers those, or an Italian cafe where they use a steam pipe to kill milk. Or sort of murder milk to within an inch of its life, get a skin on it, put it in a cup, and add a shot of coffee. There you go. There's your meia de leite. And do come and try a Torrada with it and see if you agree with me that, yes, that is a Portuguese moment. The other thing I'd like you to consider is those moments when you're becoming Portuguese. One of them might be parking on a roundabout, for example, or another might be just stopping in the street when you feel like it to talk to some people, and people behind you just wait and you don't feel bad about that. That's when you're becoming Portuguese. What's the other one? Oh, yes, being in a multi-banco queue and paying 10 of your bills while 10 other people wait behind you very patiently. That's when you know you're becoming Portuguese. Coming back to those, and please do share yours as well. I'd love to hear yours. Mark, you haven't been here long, but you might have had a Portuguese moment. So do share that. We'll come back to you as well. And we're actually looking for a missing person. I was sent a kind of circular yesterday regarding a missing person who's been missing in Portugal since 2017 and disappeared in Fatima. Let's see what we can do to see if anybody has seen this fella and if we can help find him. So we'll come back to that as well. But we've got to do the weather. We've always got to do the weather here on the Good Morning Portugal show. 17 degrees, 63 Fahrenheit in the capital. It's going to be a cloudy day there. However, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are going to be sunny with highs now of, it was forecast a bit higher, I think. Oh no, 25 is the high today. That's not too shabby, is it, for November? But 22 tomorrow and getting cooler, but staying sunny as it contributes to those around 300 days of sun there in the capital per year. Porto. Actually, I might mention Porto again. Shared a lovely article last night from National Geographic. Some great places cultural significance to go to in 2021. Of course, Portugal features there, so we'll include that if we can, if we're not overrun by Portuguese moments. But Porto this morning, 23 degrees. Will be the high, 15 at the moment, and 4 days of sunshine to come. Slightly cloudy next week, and then the rain may well return midweek. Next week, Coimbra, 13 degrees at the moment, partly cloudy right now, 25. Oh, yes. Actually, you can tell looking out the window, I get the Coimbra weather patterns looking lovely out in the valley there. 25 degrees today, yes. 20 tomorrow, 21, 21 and 19 respectively until Monday of next week. So a fine weekend. I'm going to get out there in that homestead plot and do some stuff. Fantastic. Looking forward to that. Faro, 17 degrees currently, mostly cloudy. 23 the high today. A bit cloudy still for the rest of the day, but 4 days of sunshine to come with a high of 23, ranging to 18 next Monday. So you've got a lovely weekend in Faro to look forward to as well. Whether that be looking forward to this actual weekend, or for those of you counting down, we've got so many countdowns going on. People saying to me, just 3 weeks to go, just 2 years to go, just 500 days to go. It's really amazing, and we're here with you to keep fingers crossed and pilot lights lit, Portuguese pilot lights lit for you. So let's see. We'll come back to your comments in just a moment. Thank you so much for those. Really appreciate it. This is the lifeblood of our community here. Share your Portuguese moments, please. Type them in. We are live both on. Oh, it's just getting a little tickle from a phone charger there on my hand. I wonder what that was. Yes. We are going out live on YouTube, which is proving ever more popular, and all the old shows are there. You might not want to watch Good Morning Portugal again because, you know, there's some very sort of temporal, ephemeral information on there like weather. But the Portugal show, the one we do in the evenings, some very interesting guests, and we have a slower chat, such as the one we had last night, expat chat with Peggy, Prosecco Peggy. And I did notice it was getting a bit sexist. The 4 expat chats I've done have all been with women. So if you're a fella who wants to do your expat chat with me, just for the purposes of gender balance, I don't want to be getting a bad name. Do shout out because we're going to do one of those a week. They're such fun, and they are so helpful to people who can ask questions whilst the show is taking place about how to move to Portugal and what people come up against. For example, Peggy's container apparently being dropped into the sea when it arrived at her place. Everything inside it was soggy. Even the lorry driver who shipped it from Lisbon down to Faro wanted loads of layers of cardboard on his lorry, apparently, because there was still water coming out of it. I think she said she thought they'd used it as an anchor at one point. Is that what they do? Have we got any container ship pilots here who could throw some light on that? But anyway, all's well that ends well. She's managed to restore some heirloom furniture that was in there. But wow, these are the things you find out on how to avoid such pitfalls. Peggy, of course, a very helpful member on the Expats Portugal forum. Let me put the banner in for becoming a premium member there. That's how you can really help us. Go to expatsportugal.com/upgrade. 25 euros. That's, of course, if you've got that to spare and spend right now. But you get a bunch of discounts on professional services, such as tonight, you would be VIP and go to the front of the queue for our Golden Visa webinar tonight with Daniel Reyes of Reyes and Pelicano. Might tell you a bit more about that as well as the show unfolds. Those of you lucky enough to be in the position to apply for Golden Visa status. All right, so this missing fella that I was alerted to last night via the Expats Portugal Facebook mailbox, and let me see if I can call it to the screen for you. So let's see if we can help. Is that coming up? That is coming up. That's excellent. I'll blow it up much bigger on the screen, take myself off for a moment, and you'll see there that we are looking for John Joyce, Mr. John Joyce. He's a 72-year-old. John went missing in Fatima, Portugal in July 2017, so some time ago. We have reason to believe he may have been living in the streets, says the LBT Global Trust, or is formerly the Lucy Blackman Trust. So they think he might have been living in the streets or have been taken to a hospital or shelter during the current pandemic. So we're looking for John Joyce if you're in central Portugal, and you may have come across this fella. He's around 5'6" tall and of large build, so quite distinctive shape that he cuts here. His hair is crew cut and balding, and he is missing a lower denture. So he does, he's quite a distinctive person visually there. 5'6", large build, crew cut hair, balding, and missing a lower denture. If you have any information, let me know. That might be the easiest way, and I'll pass it on to LBT Global. And you can see this if you do whiz back on the live stream, you'll see all the details there. delta.ops@lbt.global is their email address, and let's see what we can do to help the family who must be beside themselves after all this time, looking for John Joyce. Okay, be great if we can help with that. Okay, Portuguese moments. Do you have any? And I'll tell you a bit more about mine. Last night on the way to the cafe, sat with my Torrado. I've got a photo of it. I might post that up later. Yes, I am one of those people who takes pictures of food before he eats it, but just for this very purpose of, wow, here I am in Portugal. Even after 3 years, there I am sat with my Torrado having a Portuguese moment, thinking, yes, this is part of what I moved here for. This is all making it all, a bigger picture of it all being worthwhile, all the ups and downs of the expat adventure. I'll tell you what else I have forgotten before we go back to the Portuguese moments, and your Portuguese when. But it's quinta-feira today, not just this morning, all day. Yeah, my dear Aunt Dorothy used to say that, Thursday, all day. Quinta-feira, dia 19 de novembro. Okay, so Thursday, the 19th of November for you there. Okay, yes, Portuguese moments. Going towards the cafe, I'm stepping onto a zebra crossing. I don't know if people still call them that today, but pedestrian crossing, a voluntary one. Well, you hope so. This is the point of the story. I see a man in one of those rather lovely, I think it's a Toyota truck, flatbed truck. I wouldn't mind one of those myself one day. That some of the old boys have here in Portugal, a pickup. And there's a particular kind that I've not seen anywhere else in the world that you have here in Portugal. I think it's Toyota. And it looks like he's slowing down to let me cross the road. So I raise my hand to say thank you. And then as I'm stepping onto the crossing, I realized that he's not stopping at all. I have to step back because he's coming right on through. And he sees me at the last minute. And his response to me is to wave to me with a scoop gesture, like, sorry, I nearly ran you over. Because as it turns out, I look into the cab and he's got his phone in his lap, texting someone or reading a message, or I don't know, maybe updating his Facebook with a picture of his latest Torrado. I don't know. But do you know what? I wasn't in any way peeved about it. In its own strange way, it was a Portuguese moment. This old fella was looking at his phone. He nearly ran me over. He looked through, smiled at me, said sorry. I looked back at him and said, oh, not faz mal. He nearly killed me. But, we're all safe. We all got through it. And I just thought to myself, I'm in no way wild about this. It was just like, I felt a little bit Portuguese and easygoing about that. It was quite incredible in the dusk light of Anadia yesterday. Quite incredible. And yeah, these other things, you're Portuguese when, you're Portuguese when you nearly get run over by someone looking at their phone on a crossing, for example. But yeah, a parking on a roundabout. I've not done that one yet. The reason I mention this is because I think I must talk about this on the show one morning. You're Portuguese when, because I was driving through another town that I lived in, saw an old neighbor, stopped the car in the street. And started talking to the mate, see, consigo, love to the family. And someone's behind me. I'm thinking, chill. In England, I'd be like, oh, God, someone's behind me. I better get a move on. Here, I'm thinking, and I'm realizing I'm nearly Portuguese here. I'm there in the road, blocking up the road and causing an obstruction. All those things that would have made me feel terribly ashamed of myself on a British highway. But no, here I am talking to an old neighbor and people waiting behind me. And then, ciao, ciao, dog. Off I go, and then off the people go behind me. Felt a little bit Portuguese at that moment. The stretch I haven't taken is the Portuguese habit of parking on a roundabout. That's an interesting one. And I'm not sure I can go there. Not on the roundabout, not in the middle of the roundabout, and not near the middle of the roundabout, but over on the sides, not on the main island, but the sort of little islands that form the junctions. often you see someone parked up there, maybe sending a text message or something, or waiting for somebody else. It's a bizarre thing. And that to me is in the top 10 of your Portuguese way. And the other one, of course, which I'm still a little bit embarrassed to do, I have paid bills in the multi-banco system, but there will be somebody often in front of you, and sometimes many other people, who has a wad of papers, household, domestic, admin bills, and they're paying them one by one through the multi-banco system. And that's a wonderful thing about Portugal. When you're at the front of the queue, the floor is yours and no one can take it from you, and everyone else better shut up while you're doing whatever you need to do, whether it be in a queue in a public office, a bank, outside the bank at the multi-banco in this instance. When it's your turn, it's your turn, and I like that. Anyway, any views from you on that? Let's have a look at some of your comments this morning. Sapphiro is here again. Amazing. We had, and then part of the conversation last night, a little bit more cynical about Portuguese politics than me and Peggy, but we will have that discussion with Sapphiro at some point, an introduction to Portuguese politics. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow night, Sapphiro. Do you want to do that on the Expat Man Cave? That's tomorrow's delight for you in the evening from 10 o'clock. Expat men of a certain age getting together, processing the week, having a beer and having a chat. What could possibly go wrong talking about politics? Should we do religion as well while we're about it? But Sapphiro, tomorrow's an opportunity for you to join those fine gentlemen. Peggy was fun, but my phone died last night. What, for good, Ken? I hope not. Bon dia from Povo de Varginha. And I saw some lovely, what I was going to call it folk art, but sort of fisherman folk. It's not art, especially, is it? It was some lovely artifacts that the fishermen had made from Povo de Varginha, which I sent up to Mark there, which he'd not seen before, making a new home there in a canny part of a canny location, I'm saying, for Portugal, up there north of Porto. And an obrigada. Very good, Vanessa. Lovely, very good. De nada, I'll say back to you. Talking coffee this morning with Vanessa, in case you've only just joined us. You know you're becoming Portuguese when you have to ask what the word is in English. Pete, yes, very advanced. Is that you? Is that you? Is that happening to you? And are you dreaming in Portuguese yet? Interesting. Sally, good morning to you, Pete. How are the mushroom walks going? How's it going with Zepash? Good. Bon dia. I missed the last few lives. Sorry, Carl. They're all there on YouTube if you want to binge watch them. And we heard from Gordianus. It was so weird. I don't know if you remember Gordianus. He's one of our podcast listeners. Good morning to you. Well, probably good afternoon or good evening to you, Gordianus, when you listen. I hope it gives you a little tingle on your spine, up and down your spine, to hear you getting a shout out on the podcast. But I was missing you. I was thinking, where's Gordianus got to? And there he is. Or she. I think it's he. You know, it's one of these mystery people who's just got like Sapphiro, you know, like an enigmatic nickname on the screen. Gordianus, pretty sure, is a fella in a Portuguese person, I believe, in a far-flung part of the world, and saying, do not say pa. We were talking about pa, which is like mate, yesterday. He's quite proper, is Gordianus, and said, do not say pa. It makes you sound foolish or something like that. Very proper and posh, I think. His old Portuguese Gordianus, and also elaborated a little bit on what was it, Valiante, another way of referring to older folks. Got to get permission for that one, otherwise you might get a punch. Okay, so Sally, you can hear everything. Everything is recorded here, not just by Facebook, CIA, and the FBI, and everybody else, and MI5. But no, just on everything is available for listen again, pretty much, at least on Facebook, and increasingly now on YouTube. Goodness knows what I might have triggered by saying all those words together in one blast. Love the galao for the size and milkiness, but loathe the foam when it's so thick you have to eat it to get to the coffee. Now, there's a Portuguese moment, if ever there was one. Thank you, Will, for that graphic depiction of you tackling a galao of a morning. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not the first thing you're expecting, is it, when you just want a coffee and you have to work your way through a milk swamp to get to it. But nice one, Will. Thank you. And it was great hanging out with you again on that impromptu Thompson Tuesday a couple of days ago on the Portugal show. Thanks, mate, for being there. And thanks, mate, for being there all this time throughout all these months with your cool scientific head, which I know does get a bit hot sometimes, your cool scientific head, but you've been an amazing source of information for us, reliable and earnest in your endeavors. Pete, knowing you made the right decision to move here when a local tells me I am more castañerense than themselves, that is an accolade as well. And that's why we haven't done this for a while, but that's why we have referred to you as the unofficial ambassador of Castanera de Pera. And that's what the locals are called there. You often add an ENSE to the N there. So when I was in Korea, I was a Koreans, I believe they called it, Coimbrienza or Conimbrigrienza. You get the idea, even though my pronunciation may be terrible. But look at that, knowing you made the right decision to move here when a local tells me I'm more Castañerense than themselves. That's wonderful. Paul, beautiful sunny start here in Cabanas. Yes, it will be Maya de la Enterrada in Ohio this morning. I think that's probably Olio, because you're not going to Ohio this morning, I don't think, Paul. Have to go there on business. Yeah, whatever. That's yes, okay. Gianni Bon dia todos. Yesterday, our Portuguese lesson was online due to the restrictions. It was a long evening of concentration. It does make it a bit more difficult, doesn't it, when you're having to focus on the screen and listen mainly rather than watch, as you can in a classroom. So, how's it going, Gianni? Gianni in Belgium there, Belgianiense, is very thorough and studious and disciplined, learning the language before she even gets here. I'd like to know how that's going for you, Gianni. Do let us know. Becoming Portuguese when you know your neighbours are better. When you show your neighbours a better way to cut and roast chestnuts, that could cause a diplomatic outrage. Careful there, Ambassador. But yeah, fair play. That sounds like another good one. How do you go about your roasting your chestnuts, if I may be so bold, Pete? A little cut in the bottom. It's not sounding good, this, is it? Carry on roasting your chestnuts here. But a little slit in the, oh dear, it's not getting any better, is it? But you've got to puncture them, haven't you, so they don't explode in the oven, and then stand them upright, I believe. Tell us more. Then Mark Rigby's in there with a fantastic Cafe Spaces WordPress blog for us, exploring coffee and cafe culture in Portugal. Might have to have a look at that one morning. Thank you for that, Mark. Wow. So I'm here with my coffee every morning at 9, and now 4 times in a row, it just happened again. A robin flies onto the windowsill and eyes me up for a few seconds at the same time each day. Spooky. You know what else is spooky? Is the fireball spot. Let's go there now. While we're on spooky business, let us just look at this news article. Did you see this, you southern folks here in Portugal? Look at that. Look at that picture. That is courtesy. Let me make sure you can see it. Yeah, this is courtesy of the. Let me see. Meteoroid. I think it's a. I can't read it because the fireball's in the way. But whatever that is, thank you to whoever provided that picture. Fireball lights up southern Portuguese skies with video. Are we going to play the video? I think we've got to play the video here now, haven't we? Night skies in southern Portugal and Spain were lit up for just a second at around 2:49 in the morning. Now, I know some of you do. Peggy was saying she's a night owl. Around 2:49 a.m. on Monday, due to a meteor which exploded in the atmosphere at an altitude of around 60 kilometers. 2020. 60 kilometers in the sky. Described as a fireball by those who saw it. It is technically referred to as a bolide or a bolide. Wow. Astronomical people, is it a bolide or a bolide or a bolide? It was generated by a rock from a comet that hit the atmosphere at a mere 227,000 kilometers per hour, according to José Madeo from the Institute of Astrophysics of Andalusia. Shall I play it? I've got to play it, haven't I? I mean, who was it who was lucky enough to be up at 2:49 holding their camera up to the sky? I got to play this for you. Let's get the big screen business. There we go. Boom! Look at that! Oh my word! Well, there you go. So I'm delighted to be able to share that with you this morning. That's fantastic, isn't it? I need to stop it. It's still playing in the background there. I hope you got to saw that. That is fantastic. For those of you on the podcast, I will put the link in the. Actually, how do I do that for you podcast listeners? Interesting. You go to easiest way. Go to portugalresident.com. And it's /fireball lights up southern Portuguese skies with video. But go to portugalresident.com, and there, friends, you will see that. That's extraordinary. So there's Will. He's had a fourth day of a robin flying in with a message from the spirit world. Perhaps the orcas are still at it, aren't they? The orcas are still at it down in the south there, barging boats and causing trouble. 2020. What do you like? Morning, says Alison Sheldrake here. We're doing a special on the 23rd, which is next Monday at 9:00 in the evening. We are very kindly allowing us to do the exclusive book launch of Ali's book, forthcoming book. Tell us more about it in the comments. Feel free, Ali, what we can look forward to next Monday evening at 9:00. Looking forward to talking to you again, and a few of the characters from your book as well. So that's going to be a fun evening. Better get some fizz chilled for that one. But morning, turning Portuguese, when someone asks you how you are and you reply, okay, mais ou menos, yes, very good. That's another good one, isn't it? So that means sort of okay, more or less with our Portuguese language this morning. But that's great, isn't it? Tá bem, mais ou menos. Laura, off to help my neighbour, a very Portuguese moment. Absolutely, on your way there. A coffee may be involved in that, and certainly the exchange of some food or produce, I suspect. Marty P, bon dia, Carl. Peggy was great. She's always fantastic, isn't she, Peggy? Prosecco Peggy. Yeah, thanks for joining us last night, Marty. Good morning from Wiesbaden, Germany. Good morning, Jim. Loving your memes on Facebook. Enjoy those. Keep up the good service there, friend. When I think about Portugal, like the low traffic and a lot of open space, that's when Jani is having a Portuguese moment, even though she's not here yet. Totally get that. It's important to have those, isn't it? And keep the dream and the vision alive. I will be having Portugal shenanigans 10 days or so, counting down with you, Ken, as well. 10 days to go. Safaro, yeah, I'm in for that. He's going to join us in the Expat Man Cave with an introduction to Portuguese politics. Do not feel excluded in any way by the words expat, man, or cave. All are welcome. It just does get a bit sort of beery in there. Should I put it like that? Sometimes we get a little bit immature and puerile with our humour, but we're just letting off steam of a Friday evening. All are welcome if you can put up with that kind of nonsense. So yes, Safaro, great news. Thank you for that. The introduction to Portuguese politics tomorrow night. Bon dia from Anna Rita Vera. Good morning to you, Anna. How are you doing? I'm sure we'll see you tonight or sometime soon on the Portugal Calling webinars. About fine gent. Well, I do have my quirks and features. We've noticed, Safiro, but yes, you're a fine gent, and I'm so glad you're joining us tomorrow night. The last mushroom walk will be this Sunday, says Pete, and all 5 have been sold out. Je sais pas, can organise others at your request. Please let him know if you're interested. How good is that? He's so good, is Zepash, that he sells out. The fun guy who introduces you to fungi. Sally, thanks, Pete, for that. Thank you. I will have a look. Yes, please do. They're all there, Sally, on the YouTube channel. Had been asleep for 4 hours, says Nick. Confession there. Do you know what? Perhaps that's another Portuguese moment to report. I went to sleep yesterday. Just thought I'd have a little snooze. I do stay up late sometimes after I've done the Portugal show in the evening. I'll watch a bit of telly, maybe watch a bit of news to try and sort of keep up with what's going on. And I can't sleep straight away. And sometimes before I know it, it's like 1 or 2 in the morning. And then I'm up again for the 9 o'clock stint. And yesterday, I had a little siesta, which I think, is part of getting into the local culture. I'm not that many people do it anymore. I'm sure a few of the oldies have a little kip in the afternoon, right? It makes sense. It's like you have 2 days if you do that. I think I went to sleep from about 2 till 5 yesterday. And the funny thing is, I was no less productive. I don't know what that says about my productivity, but this whole thing in this stress we have in our minds that there's not enough time in the day. It's just an illusion, I think, because I didn't do any less. Still out having a coffee and a torrada and going about my business, 2 shows, hanging out with the family, asleep for some of it, admittedly. But yeah, 3 hours of sleep yesterday. But Nick takes the title for most sleep. Had been asleep for 4 hours. That's probably by the time Prosecco Peggy joined us is probably that what explains that by the time we're on at 10 in the evening. So I wonder if that's what that means, Nick. But good to have your company. X-Files fans may think it's E.T. coming home. Oh, or maybe that's what Nick's referring to. By the time it was 2:48, yeah, and see, you wouldn't have seen the meteor be slumbering like the rest of us. But yes, Robins visiting cafes 4 days in a row, fireballs in the sky, orca whales barging boats. What's going on? Chris, thank you for that, Anna. Hi, Carl. Christine and Malcolm in Calvairo can highly recommend the book. Really enjoyable. Great Xmas present. Oh, that's Ali's book. But this is the sequel that's coming out, Chris. But applaud it there for Ali's book. And looking forward to the launch. Will you be there on Monday then, Christine and Malcolm? It's another excuse, isn't it, to open a bottle and have a raise a glass. Thanks, Chris and Malcolm. Bon dia, Ericeira is warm and sunny this morning. Another weather report coming in, fantastic, from Gail Lynn. And Gail saying hi to others in the community as well, which is fantastic, including Mara, who I can't see here. Those fungi need the exercise. Always recommend walking your mushrooms. Keep them healthy before harvest. Ken, what are you talking about? Honestly, walking his mushrooms. I don't know what that means. And I'm going to move on. I really overslept today. Must be something in the air. Yeah, you're getting into the easy-going Portuguese way of life, Louise. Good morning to you. That's more Spanish, the siesta thing. I don't recommend the siesta, says Safaro. Waking up in the middle of the night for a snack in the winter ain't fun. Yes, that's another way of looking at it. And Chris Law, absolutely, we are here with you most mornings. Oh, that's really lovely to hear. And not everybody speaks out, do they? Those mushroom. I see what you mean. Very good, Ken. Very good. I thought you were going off on some other thing that was to do with, fireballs in the sky. Some. I was just being silly. That's most welcome here, Ken. I'm not going to ask you to stop it by any means. But yes, strange times indeed, which may have included people walking mushrooms. All right, Moto GP. Dave and Debbie said, don't forget to mention the Moto GP. So I will do that. Unfortunately, the best source I have for that is an old article from the Portugal Resident, but it still has the info in there. Let's just let you know what's going on there with the spectatorless. As it stood at that time, it was a spectatorless Moto GP. This is, of course, motorcycle racing. We've had the F1 recently, haven't we, where Lewis Hamilton continuing to win every race around the world, and of course including that one in Portimao. Same track. The Algarve is expected to lose around 74 million in potential tourism, oh dear, because of this spectatorless event that's happening, but it's happening nonetheless. The event taking place between the 20th and 22nd of November at the Algarve's International Racetrack. I don't want to focus too much on the negatives of this, but it will reach 428 million TVs around the world this weekend, adding that 1.25 billion MotoGP videos were viewed in 2019. So F1 does tend to get the limelight, doesn't it? But MotoGP is clearly there, no less popular. All in all, the championship is said to have reached 6.7 billion people last year. So great for Portugal to be featured on the in the world sport media there. Portugal's record-setting MotoGP racer Miguel Oliveira has lamented that the race will take place with no spectators. It's a shame there won't be any fans in the stands. We have to understand the PM's decision. Keep a positive attitude and find motivation to compete there, the 25-year-old said at a press conference. In August, Oliveira became the first Portuguese ever to win a MotoGP race, finishing first at the Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix and cementing his place as the country's most successful rider ever. So, shout out to Miguel Oliveira. Excellent MotoGP racer and representing the country well, as indeed the MotoGP event will, from the 20th to the 22nd of this coming weekend, what with all the restrictions surrounding it as well. Any more Portuguese moments? Do let me have them, or your Portuguese when, if we have those. Good question, Chris. Have we missed the wine for tomorrow night? No, we have not. Let me just give you a little bit of info on that then. I will go to Facebook, as I suggest you do as well. If you want to be kept in touch with what's going on with the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club, the latest selections. And while we're doing this, I can, of course, give you mine as well. We are ahead of ourselves, Chris and Malcolm, and anyone else who joins us, actually, with the wine selections. The wine selection tomorrow night is Mr. Perkins will be leading the tasting charge, as it were, tomorrow. This is the wine chosen for the 19th, the Casa Ferreirinha, a Vinha Grande from the Douro region. We're going to the Douro. There's a 2018 or a 2017, and vivino.com. Let me just put this link in so you can actually see a picture of this fine wine. I just need to get the screen right for you to have a look at this. Where are we? Vivino. Just want to share it with you. You haven't missed it. You haven't missed it. That's the first and foremost question to answer. There it is. It says 10.38 euros on there, an average online price. At the continent, you can get a good, I think, a much better discount on it at the moment. I think we're looking at a €5 wine. There it is. The one I've seen this in the stores actually. Douro Red with the looks like sort of 4 muses on the label there. Casa Ferreirinha. Good value for money. Similar wines usually cost 58% more, even at that price of 10.38. This vintage rate's better than any other year for this wine. So there you go. That's for tomorrow night. And then the week after, I'm taking everybody to the Dow region. Where is the bottle? It is Pedra Cancela. And I've tested it, for the purposes of research, obviously, and it's a goodie. And as I said before, I'm feeling a bit disloyal to the Barada region where I live because I'm drinking Dow wines. I probably have to whisper that and keep it a secret. Ali, looking forward to next Monday evening. This is the exclusive book launch. Ali's new book on the Portugal show. Just deciding which 2 little preview sections from my book to read out for you. For you all. Think I might have to go with one of the funniest moments, of course, and we'll have friends with me on the show, and Cat the dog will make an appearance. Cat the dog, fantastic. Just need to persuade Dave to show his face too. A man who possibly prefers to speak with his incredible photographs. I mean, it'd be lovely to talk to Dave sometime, or at least show the incredible photographs he captures of the Algarve. They are stunning. They really are. So Ali and Dave Sheldrake, pillars of the Algarve community in their respective ways there. Looking forward to that on Monday. Me too. What else was I going to share with you? Oh, yeah. Finally, then, let us actually know a couple of things at Expats Portugal. Let me just show you tonight's webinar. If you're a VIP member, yes, indeed, Ken, testing the wine for scientific reasons, of course. I tend to be more of a sort of, a person of faith and, ogly boggly stuff. But I do get scientific with the wine. It's true, I have to say. Okay, sharing the screen now so you can see what's coming up tonight on the Portugal Calling. Let's whiz down. What you need to know about Portugal's Golden Visa. Live and work in all of Europe with one of those. That's tonight between 8 and 9. Talking to the excellent Daniel Reis of Reis and Pelicano, the law firm, international lawyers there who we like to work with and who will give you a discount if you are one of our premium members. So lots to know and discover about the Golden Visa tonight. We will stop sharing that and share our ultimate piece of information. The climax of the show now, sharing some good news with you. Best of the world, 8 top destinations for... Look at this. What's going on there? Why am I getting an advert for capacitors on my... It's just amazing, isn't it? This world of advertising. I can assure you, I've never looked up a capacitor in all of my life. The Bussmann bolted tag fuse. It's not a capacitor. It's an industrial fuse. What? Okay, I'm going to move on because I don't think I'll be buying one of those anytime soon. Google or whoever's behind this plot to market to me. Here we go on the screen now. Best of the world, the 8 unmissable cultural experiences for 2021 and beyond. And we will pause for a moment on these beautiful tiles, which are not São Bento Station that we discovered last night after a little bit of a discussion about that. But aren't they beautiful? They are. I was thinking some of these cherubs could be like peeing cherub water features, couldn't they? But perhaps not. Look, no, it's an external azulejo selection. Isn't that amazing? Without the National Geographic logo on it, obviously. Porto, Portugal. Here we go. A number 1 old world wine in a bold new setting. and a full description there that takes in the Palacio de Bolsa, of course. It's beautifully written, this little article. There is the celebration, basically, of Henry the Navigator they referred to. And now there's a spanking new reason to visit Porto, they say. The riverside Villanova de Gaia district has long been where the port wine that's made further up the Douro River has been stored for export. Several of the wine houses offer tours and tasting, but the new jewel in the crown here, the new world of wine, brings the whole port wine story together. Set inside former warehouses, it's much a bigger endeavor than a simple wine museum. Who's been to this so far? I know Neil Perkins has, our wine taster tomorrow. He had a great time, celebrated his anniversary there. Thoroughly recommended it. In fact, there are no fewer than 6 separate museums here at World of Wine, covering chocolate, fashion, cork, drinking vessels, glasses, I guess, to you and me, copos, and city history as well as wine, plus 9 restaurants, shops, and a wine school. The idea, so that's my kind of schooling. The idea is for the new addition to act as a centerpiece to a newly invigorated cultural district, broadening the offering beyond looking at wine barrels in cellars. It certainly does that, doesn't it? As additions to the city go, it's a brave new opening for our times, a 5,000 square meter space that cost 95 million and 5 years to come to fruition. And they didn't see the pandemic coming, which would, of course, have affected the opening. But let's see if we can get there sometime soon. World of Wine, everybody. Sounds like a Good Morning Portugal wine club field trip to me. Who's up for it? Okay, Neil's here this morning. It was an exceptional experience. Good morning, Neil. How are you doing? Looking forward to the tasting this evening with you. Have I been saying it's tomorrow night? It's tonight. Quinta-feira, Thursday night. Looking forward to your Douro wine, your Douro Red tonight, Mr. Poopy Perkins. Looking forward to the company of all the wine ninjas tonight as well. Have I been Googling flux capacitors for my DeLorean? Oh, that'll be it, Ken, of course. The mystery is solved. As I say goodbye to you and look forward to seeing you sometime back in the future. And that'll be tonight for the webinar if you're on that one for the Golden Visa. And if not, in the company of the excellent Mr. Perkins and a fine Douro Red that we'll be tasting tonight. Take care. Have a great day. And, fica bem to you in these interesting times. And we'll see you tonight, or we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. where we close the week, and we'll be wishing everybody a bon fin de semana tomorrow. Take care and bye for now. Ciao, ciao. Beijinhos, abrazos.